Nigiri is mostly served in 2 pieces and you can eat it with your bare hands. The sheet of nori and rice is wrapped around raw tuna, which is then mixed with seasoned and spicy mayonnaise, which is not very traditional.
Hi, I'm Joost, and just like you, I fell in love with Asian food. Now, I take everything I've learned about techniques and ingredients and share them on my blog and this YouTube channel with you guys. If I can cook it, so can you.
Today it's possible to walk into your local retail or grocery store and get a takeaway sushi package that you can enjoy in the comfort of your home as you watch Netflix. However, whether you are enjoying sushi from the comfort of your home or a 5-star Japanese restaurant, you cannot deny that sushi is one of the famous Japanese delicacies that is very popular throughout the entire world. I'll walk you through the differences between Japanese and American sushi, and we'll look at the most popular types of sushi you can find. There's a big difference between traditional Japanese sushi and American sushi. Traditional Japanese sushi is much simpler, not dressed up as much, and it mostly focuses on the fish. American sushi, on the other hand, focuses more on the sushi rolls, and it is topped with a lot of sauces and garnishes. Tamari sauce is probably the sauce you'll see most used with sushi, best known as the Japanese version of soy sauce, but it's vastly different from its Chinese analog. The tamari sauce is fermented with less wheat, which causes it to have a less salty flavor and thicker consistency. Well, like dashi, the tamari sauce is also used in a variety of Japanese foods in order to add a savory umami flavor to them. Well, tamari is the byproduct of miso paste and is completely different from the Chinese soybean soya, which is made by cooking soybeans with roasted wheat. Almost no wheat is added to the product during the fermentation process, so it makes it the perfect sushi sauce for people who are gluten intolerant. Most sushi restaurants may prefer to use tamari sauce over soy sauce or a soy sauce mix in cooking their in-house recipes, as well as serve it as a dipping sauce. Teriyaki sauce. This is the black and sticky version of the soy sauce that's used for glazing the fish on top of the sushi. And sometimes the sushi chef also uses it to drizzle over the California roll toppings in order to enhance its flavor. It possesses a strong flavor and has a thicker consistency, which makes it a good pair with a variety of dishes. The following are the main types of Japanese sushi. You have sashimi. Well, technically sashimi is not sushi, even though it is still categorized as sushi. Whereas sushi is fish served with a bowl of rice, which might have some extra ingredients, sashimi is just raw fish, which is sliced and then served as is. The fish is sliced in long rectangular slices, which are known as hirazukuri. Mostly sashimi is served alongside soy sauce and ginger, which comes as its condiments. Then you have nigiri. This is a type of sushi made out of bowls of sushi rice seasoned with rice vinegar, and then it is topped with a slice of raw fish. Typically, nigiri is mostly served in 2 pieces, and you can eat it with your bare hands, so long as you have used the hot towel to clean them. Then there's chirashi. The basic Japanese definition of chirashi is scattered. So what is chirashi exactly? This is a bowl of sushi rice which is seasoned with rice vinegar and then topped with an assortment of raw fish and different garnishes. The raw fish used in this dish is usually the chef's choice. Chirashi is a simple and easy to make. and a convenient meal to eat. In Japan, different toppings are used for this dish, and it depends on the region where this delicacy is being served. Mostly, chirashi is eaten on Doll Day or Girls' Day, Hina Matsuri, a Japanese day celebrated on March 23rd. Then there's maki. This is cut rolled sushi, which is traditionally made using a sheet of nori, that's seaweed, that's wrapped with a layer of veggie, rice, and fish. The sushi is then rolled with a special bamboo mat and then cut into small 6 to 8 pieces. There are different varieties of maki sushi rolls that you can order in a traditional Japanese restaurant. These varieties range in style and size, and they include futomaki, which is a bit larger size sushi rolls, and they are stuffed with several ingredients. Hosomaki, they are smaller sushi rolls and they are made into a cone shape using a sheet of seaweed. However, hosomaki contains one single filling, which can be carrots, tuna, or cucumbers. And then there's temaki. These are hand sushi rolls made by rolling nori sheets into cone shapes and then filling them with fish, veggies, and rice. This type of maki sushi is mostly eaten with hands since they are too large to be eaten using chopsticks. Then there's gunkan sushi. This type is like the maki sushi, only it is formed like a ship, a gunkan, a battleship, with the seaweed wrapped around the side of the filling on top of the rice instead of rolled within. Also referred to as a battleship sushi, it is made by folding roasted seaweed, nori, around a bowl of rice seasoned with rice vinegar so that it creates a good shape that can be filled with different ingredients like salmon roe, oysters, flying fish roe, or sea urchin roe. Then there are popular types of American sushi. Today there are different varieties of sushi that are served in American restaurants. These varieties are considered to be Western versions of the traditional maki sushi. Even though these American varieties are not so traditional, it doesn't mean that they are not delicious. The following are some of the most common types of American sushi rolls which are served in various American restaurants. American sushi is typically a bit less healthy than traditional sushi. First you have the California roll. These have the appearance of an inside-out sushi roll. The California roll has the rice layer on the outside and the sheet of seaweed nori is on the inside. Mostly the sushi roll comprises of imitation crab, avocado, cucumber, and at times flying fish roll or tobiko. Then there's the tempura roll. Just like the California rolls, tempura rolls have the rice on the outside. The rice covers a nori sheet which contains tempura fried shrimp, together with other veggies like cucumber and avocado. You have the spicy tuna roll. These sushi rolls have a sheet of seaweed on the outside and rice on their inside, so it's a bit more traditional. The sheet of nori and rice is wrapped around raw tuna, which is then mixed with seasoned and spicy mayonnaise, which is not very traditional. You have the dragon roll. These resemble tempura rolls since they use avocado, cucumber, and shrimp tempura. The rice on the dragon roll is on the outside and it is mostly sprinkled with sesame seeds. But one thing makes these sushi rolls unique. They include thinly sliced avocado on the top of the sushi roll, together with tobiko, and then they are drizzled with some spicy unagi sauce and mayonnaise. The spider roll. These are made using deep fried soft shell crab and they include different fillings like cucumber, lettuce or daikon sprouts, avocado, spicy mayonnaise and also some roe. The rainbow roll, this is basically a sushi roll that has been topped with different varieties of sashimi. Most often the sushi roll that's covered by sashimi is a California roll, which consists of crab and avocado. To prepare a rainbow roll, the sushi chef first makes a California roll and then adds the extra toppings after that to create a rainbow-like color scheme on top. You have the Philly roll or the Philadelphia roll. This is one of the most common sushi varieties that you will find in America. The sushi roll comprises of salmon, cucumber, and cream cheese, even though some chefs usually add other ingredients like onions, avocado, and sometimes sesame seeds. The roll is known as the Philly roll, but not because it's from Philadelphia, but because chefs use the Philadelphia cream cheese to make the sushi roll. Then there's vegetarian roll. If you're worried about people who don't like seafood and meat, especially the raw seafood, then there's something for them as well. Almost every other sushi restaurant usually offers a vegetarian sushi roll. The sushi roll contains different varieties of veggies, including cucumber and avocado. And you have the volcano roll. This volcano roll comes with a variety of ingredients, however, all volcano rolls come with one thing in common. Toppings on these rolls make them look like as if they want to explode. That's the reason why they were given the name volcano roll.
What am I supposed to do with leftover sushi? Should you put it in the fridge and eat later? Or can you put it in the freezer? Those are the questions I'm going to answer for you. Now, can you freeze sushi? Sushi tastes best when it's eaten within 3 or 4 hours of preparation. It's best to consume fresh sushi, especially if it contains raw fish. As a general rule, it's best not to freeze sushi because it just won't taste as good as the fresh stuff. That's why sushi from a restaurant or homemade is so much more delicious than the refrigerated sushi from a deli or the supermarket. Those are usually made at the beginning of the day and kept refrigerated, so by the time you buy it, it isn't all that fresh anymore. Now, sushi is one of those dishes that doesn't really freeze well, so keep that in mind before deciding to freeze rolls. You can store sushi in the fridge, but it must be consumed within a maximum of 24 hours. Otherwise, it isn't safe to eat and you risk food poisoning. Now, if the sushi has raw fish, it's recommended that you consume the rolls within a few hours, even if refrigerated. But technically, you can freeze sushi. It can be frozen just like other cooked foods, but certain conditions have to be followed. The most important factor to consider when freezing sushi is what the ingredients of the sushi are. There are so many varieties of sushi and it all depends if the sushi contains raw fish or not. The raw fish can form ice crystals which can alter the taste, but it won't affect the food, you can still eat it. With that recommendation in mind, remember that it's best not to freeze sushi at all. Remember that certain fillings in sushi should not be frozen if you want to maintain that original sushi taste. This is especially true with vegetables and cooked seafood, as these can go soft and fall apart. You should always be careful with the sushi you freeze. If it is leftover sushi that has been lying around your kitchen, it might be contaminated, so really don't freeze it. Now, how do I freeze sushi rolls? Freeze them immediately after you finish eating. Don't leave it out or in the fridge. Whether it's your homemade sushi or leftovers from your takeout order, just take the leftover rolls and place them in a plastic airtight container and seal well with the lid on it. Write down the date and remember to eat it in a couple of days. If you freeze sushi rolls, the reality is that they won't taste the same once you thaw them. If your sushi is made with veggies and cooked seafood, it won't last well in the freezer. The ingredients that are most at risk of falling apart and hardening are the nori paper and the rice. And once you thaw the rolls, they might start looking less like rolls and more like a mushy ball. In most cases, the frozen sushi rolls will fall apart, break apart and start to become soggy once fully thawed. Also be aware that some of the sushi fillings may be altered in appearance once frozen. Avocado tends to go black and the cucumbers can become very soft. Now the rice can become chewy, almost rubbery even, and the nori paper can be very sticky. The texture will not be the same as it is for fresh rolls. You can freeze sushi rolls that contain raw fish because freezing destroys parasites and prevents the formation of harmful bacteria like salmonella, which causes food poisoning. Now, frozen raw fish sushi with tuna, crab and salmon is safe to eat, but it's still not recommended that you freeze sushi. It's best to freeze the sushi for a few days only, about 3 days at the most. Even though the raw fish can technically be frozen for a longer period, even up to 3 months, the nori, the rice and the fillings won't taste good if frozen for longer than 3 days. Now, how do you defrost sushi? After you take the sushi rolls out of the freezer, keep them on a dry plate for about 3 hours until they completely thaw. If you are really hungry and can't wait, try placing the sushi in the microwave on the defrost setting for a couple of minutes. You can also place sushi rolls in a Ziploc bag and put them in warm water for 20 minutes or so. They should thaw well this way. There should be no ice or frozen parts in the sushi and no odd smell. If you smell something that's off, don't eat them. If you're convinced that you want to freeze some sushi for later, be prepared to eat it in the next few days. And don't expect the sushi to taste just like the fresh sushi. However, the sushi will taste fine and you can eat it, no worries.
Well, at its most simple, sushi is just a delicious Japanese dish, but add the extra deep flavors of perfectly executed sushi sauces to it and sushi becomes divine. Your maki sushi or nare sushi will burst with flavors by simply adding traditional teriyaki or ponzu sauce to them. Tamari sauce is probably the sauce you'll see most used with sushi. Eel sauce or nitsume. If your friends have been eating sushi for a while now and have fallen in love with the black sushi sauce, then surprise them by telling you you've got their homemade version of it. The Japanese call it nitsume, and it's often used to drizzle a bit on the grilled eel and other fish toppings on sushi. The eel sauce has a sweet and salty flavor that goes well with most sushi dishes. If you want to make eel sauce at home, then you will need to prepare these ingredients. Half a cup of soy sauce, half a cup of mirin, that's a Japanese sweet wine, half a cup of white sugar. Now get a saucepan and place it on the stove. Mix all the ingredients as you bring them to a boil and simmer until the liquid mixture is reduced to about 3/4 of its original volume. Once the sauce cools down, transfer it to a cool glass jar and refrigerate. Tonkatsu sauce. Much like the two previous sauces, this too is a tastier and thicker version of soy sauce, which can also serve as a marinade or be drizzled over fish toppings on your nigiri or urumaki rolls. Its thick consistency and sweet taste enhance the flavor and texture of any dish that you'll mix it with. You can use this recipe to make tonkatsu sauce at home. The ingredients are half a cup of ketchup, 1.5 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of mirin, 1 teaspoon of grated fresh ginger, and 1 clove of garlic, minced of course. In a medium-sized mixing bowl, place all the ingredients and stir thoroughly until you've made a homogeneous mix. Let the mix sit for around 30 minutes in the mixing bowl in order for the flavors to blend until you get the right taste of the tonkatsu sauce. Ponzu sauce. This tangy, flavored soy-based sauce has quite a similar function as the other sushi sauces, and it is used as both a dipping sauce and or a marinade for the seafood and the sushi to enhance their flavor. Although it could not be verified historically, it is believed that ponzu sauce got its tangy flavor from adding fresh citrus, lemon or orange juice, which was inspired by Dutch traders in the 17th century. Here are the ingredients to prepare ponzu sauce at home. Half a cup of low sodium soy sauce, a quarter cup of fresh lemon or orange juice, 1 tablespoon of mirin, 1 tablespoon of water, and 1/8 teaspoon red pepper crushed. Now get a mixing bowl and mix all of the ingredients in it. Then cover the mixing bowl with a lid and keep it at room temperature for 30 to 60 minutes. After that, transfer the sauce into a clean jar and refrigerate. Nigiri sauce. It's a sweet soy sauce. The nigiri soy-based sauce may not be everyone's favorite sushi sauce, but it certainly deserves a mention here. It is almost exclusively used for nigiri toppings, and although made from soybeans, this sushi sauce has a rather light brown color and a sweet taste. And while the other sushi sauces have a thicker consistency, this one though has a thinner texture, but offers a burst of rich umami flavor that is not found in any of the other sushi sauces. The ingredients for the nigiri sauce are 1 cup of high quality soy sauce, 1 cup of mirin, half a cup of homemade dashi, 1.5 tablespoons of sake. Now get a small saucepan and place it on the stove, then set the temperature to low heat as you mix all of the ingredients in it. Allow the mixture to simmer until much of the liquid has evaporated. This should take about 15 to 20 minutes, and this will give you the perfect thickness for a syrupy-like sauce. So fortunately, sushi isn't a really fattening food, and if you have a desire for sushi, a low-calorie meal is not that hard to accomplish. While sushi rice contains a good amount of carbohydrates, sushi can be consumed without rice if you want. This is called sashimi, and even a standard sushi item can be a healthy treat without breaking the calorie bank. You can always just choose cucumber and maybe a few slices of carrot, and it would still taste very great. But fish with lots of omega-3s might be a good option for you too. Now, the seaweed in sushi has a lot of health benefits too. Nori or seaweed includes tyrosine and iodine that promotes thyroid functions. Now, your thyroid balances out your hormones, and that's essential because dramatic changes in hormone concentrations can also lead to weight gain. Seaweed helps maintain the equilibrium and includes a lot of fiber without calories as an added bonus. Now, I was really enthusiastic when I discovered this, and the calorie-less fiber enables you to feel more full for longer periods of time. And it also delays those irritating hunger yearnings. Now, sushi vinegar does contain some sugar. Rice vinegar is exceptional and perfect for digestion, but it also helps absorb nutrients from other foods you consume. It is a great inducer of weight loss, and it balances some of the peskier ingredients in sushi, such as soy sauce, that is high in sodium, and if it wasn't for that rice vinegar, it would leave you feeling bloated and just terrible. Now, the soy sauce is really salty, and you might want to skip it if you're trying to watch the amount of salt you eat as well, or there are some low sodium options available. Now, sushi rice is normally seasoned with sushi vinegar, which also contains sugar, but you can just only use the rice vinegar instead if you're watching your diet. With so many health and weight loss advantages, these 3 components in sushi are fairly much jumping out. Now, since we have identified advantages for some of the most commonly used ingredients, we still need to tackle the white rice problem. White rice is a no-go if you want to lose weight, but sushi can be sushi without rice, and I have to say it's bold, as much as I agree with it. There are plenty of excellent sushi rice options that leave sushi in its purest, most holy form to be sushi. So, the healthy substitute for white rice can be replaced with high fiber cauliflower rice that makes it great for digestive reasons and makes you feel full faster to reduce your calorie consumption. What's fantastic too is that a lot of locations are starting to serve sushi rolls made from cauliflower rice. Quinoa can also be a substitute for rice. It's high in fiber and also gluten-free. In restaurant serving sushi, it's an up-and-coming star. You can also make sushi from brown rice, which helps, but you still need to watch how many pieces you eat. And I haven't seen that many restaurants that serve it yet. And last but not least, arborio rice, which is effectively risotto rice, is the secret of home cooking. Arborio rice has antioxidants that assist in increasing metabolism, which can greatly help in weight loss process. Which are the healthiest sushi rolls and which ones have more calories than others? I've listed the most famous sushi rolls here, from the highest number of calories to the lowest. So you can become an expert in sushi calories too. The reality hurts when it comes to high-calorie sushi rolls, but sometimes a nice roll is just worth it. These calorie counts are for 6-piece rolls, which you'll mostly get when ordering them or getting takeout. The first is the shrimp tempura roll. It has 508 calories. Shrimp tempura roll has the most calories because shrimp is breaded and fried, providing a crunchy, delicious taste to the shrimp. It contains 508 calories, 21 grams of fat, 64 carbohydrates, and 20 grams of protein. Then there's the rainbow roll with 476 calories. For those who want a bit of everything, the rainbow roll is the one they should be looking for. It contains 476 calories, 16 grams of fat, 50 grams of carbs, and 33 grams of protein. The sushi rolls is classified as one of the most varied and protein-packed rolls by an array of fish on top. And while it's high in calories, it's a colorful meal. Then there's the eel avocado roll with 372 calories. Eel is chewy and one of sushi's most fatty fish. The eel avocado roll contains 372 calories, 17 grams of fat, 31 grams of carbohydrates, 20 grams of protein. This roll is packed with protein, and although it's a good thing, it needs a sophisticated sushi palate because not everyone is excited by its taste. Then there's the caterpillar roll with 329 calories. Thanks to the avocado slice on top, the caterpillar roll got its name. It has 329 calories, 5 grams of fat, 60 carbohydrates, and 9 grams of protein. This roll generally includes eel, tobiko, which is fish roe, and cucumber in addition to the avocado. Then there's the Philadelphia roll with 320 calories. You will find salmon and cream cheese in the Philadelphia roll, making it one of the more caloric sushi rolls. It has 320 calories, 8 grams of fat, 32 carbohydrates, and 8 grams of protein. If you like the taste of cream cheese with seafood, it's a nice comfort roll to order and one of the best ones. Then there's the spider roll with 317 calories. The spider roll consists mainly of battered crab, which adds flavor and calories to a roll that's otherwise pretty basic. It has 317 calories, 12 grams of fat, 38 carbohydrates, and protein, a content of 13 grams. The crab's fried preparation adds fat, but it's still a very famous and delicious roll. Then there's the salmon avocado roll with 304 calories. The salmon avocado roll has health advantages written all over it. There are 304 calories in this sushi roll, 8.4 grams of fat, 42 carbohydrates, and 13 grams of protein. Since it's full of omega-3s and good fats, it is fantastic to eat. The spicy tuna roll has 290 calories. The spicy tuna roll has more pizzazz and spice than the standard roll of tuna. It contains 290 calories, 11 grams of fat, 26 carbohydrates, and 24 grams of protein. The delicious spice is produced with mayonnaise, which contributes to the count of calories. It also has hot sauce and green onions. Then there's the California roll with 225 calories. A classic is the California roll. It has 225 calories, 7 grams of fat, 28 carbohydrates, and 9 grams of protein. It's the ideal roll for beginners to try making sushi for the first time or for a light meal. Then there's the standard tuna roll with 184 calories. With the added protein, the tuna roll is still pretty simple. It has 184 calories, 2 grams of fat, 27 grams of carbohydrates, and 24 grams of protein. This roll is an excellent choice with light fish without the spicy tuna element. The avocado roll has 140 calories. The avocado roll it includes the smallest quantity of calories as it is one of the most basic ones to order. There are 140 calories in an avocado roll, 5.7 grams of fat, 28 grams of carbohydrates, and 2.1 grams of protein. And this roll is light and perfect for those who don't enjoy fish. Hi, I'm Joost from Bitemybun.com, and today I want to talk to you about the origins of sushi. I actually thought this question was quite strange because in my mind sushi was obviously from Japan. When thinking of the origins of sushi, most will associate it with Japanese culture. They may not even give it a second thought as to whether it is Chinese. However, sushi does have its roots in Chinese culture, and it may be surprising to find out how easily these lines can become blurred. I'll answer the question if sushi is Chinese or Japanese and why there's a legitimate cause for confusion. Although sushi is commonly associated with Japan, it originated outside of the country. Early historical records trace it back to the regions of Southeast Asia around the Mekong River in the secondary century CE. It started out as nare sushi, or fermented fish wrapped in sour rice, a dish that later spread into China and Japan. Although early forms of sushi spread to China and Japan, the Chinese were quick to adopt it. The rice was not seen as a part of the meal, but rather as a way to preserve the fish during the times before refrigeration. The fermentation of the rice worked as an antimicrobial, keeping the fish from spoiling. When rice ferments, it becomes acidic, producing conditions that are unfavorable to bacteria. The half-fermented fish that resulted from this preservation process is known as nabanare. Today, there are still dishes served in Hunan that use rice and salt to ferment fish. Eventually, Japan became inspired by China to make their own version of nabanare. However, rather than using the rice to preserve the fish, they would eat it along with the raw fish. Like the Chinese, they also called this dish nabanare or nabanari. The dish continued to evolve, and during the Muromachi period, it was served as fish wrapped in rice, in sushi rice. Once again, the rice was not used to preserve the fish, but just for the taste and enjoyment of the food. However, it is worth mentioning here that the formulation of vinegar played a major role in the evolution of sushi. Once vinegar was formulated, people stopped using fermented rice to preserve the fish and used vinegar instead. Not only did vinegar work well in the preservation process, but it also brought a taste to the fish that people preferred, especially when it was mixed with sugar. It wasn't until the mid-1800s, during the Edo period, when we would start to see sushi that more closely resembled the modern-day sushi that we know and love. The modernized version was called Hayazushi and was created by a man named Hanaya Yohei. Although there are blurred lines when considering whether sushi is Chinese or Japanese, many associate the food with Japan. This is partially due to the fact that a Japanese man is credited for bringing the modern version of sushi to the masses, but it's also because Japan has integrated the food into its culture so much. The Japanese use food as a way to display their cultural heritage, and sushi is a big part of this. The lines between sushi and Korean sushi are a lot less blurred as the lines between Chinese and Japanese are, because it is quite clear that Japan introduced sushi to Korea when it annexed Korea in 1910. And that's when I brought dishes like sushi to the country. The Korean sushi you see now is an evolution from the sushi that Japan brought, and they call it gimbap, where it's more like sushi balls. I hope this answers your question around the origins of sushi. I have another great video for you about the most popular Japanese foods explained. You can watch it here. Also subscribe to hear more from us at bitemybun.com or search Google for Bitemybun Sushi for all of our information around the topic.